Thank you. Respected Director Dr. Pushpita Kumar Ghosh, Madam Ghosh, respected Dr. Iyengar, Dr. Kane, Dr. Mehta, former employees of this institute, ladies and friends. First of all, I would like to thank our director, Dr. P.K. Ghosh, for giving me an opportunity to share some of my experience in developing technologies on inorganic siliceous chemicals. I joined the institute in 1976, and late Dr. V.P. Pandya, who was the group leader and later on he was the head of the division, I express my sincere thanks to him because under his guidance I obtained my MSc by dissertation and also obtained my PhD degree under his guidance. Dr. A.S. Mehta and Mr. V.M. Sheth were the chemical engineers who helped us in scaling up our technologies in this chemical engineering shade. Dr. P.M. Oza, Dr. Balala, late Dr. H.M. Dave, then Mr. K.N. Patel, who is also present here amongst us. They were the senior scientists who are working with us. Dr. Somani, you know, he is already with us. Dr. Modi, very recently in January 2014, he superannuated. And I'd like to acknowledge especially two of my colleagues, Mr. J.M. Parmar and Mr. D'Souza, without whose help would not have been able to conduct any laboratory experiment or the lab scale experiment. So this is the acknowledgement with whom I've been working for. Next slide. Now before I start with my exact R&D work, I just give a brief introduction. The synthetic silicate group was formally formed in 1972 with Dr. V.P. Pandya as a group leader. He was a group leader in silicate and catalysis also, and also in reverse osmosis. There were three senior persons, Dr. Oza, Dr. Balala, and Mr. K.N. Patel. They were the three. I joined in 1976, and I was the fourth person as a junior laboratory assistant. Then I remember Dr. Mehta, the director, the director, he made it mandatory that whoever joins the institute and will be pursuing his R&D, they have to undergo a 1 week training in each discipline. So rightly, maybe about 1.5 months, we underwent a training in each discipline. And if you remember, that was the main focus was to get aware with the analytical techniques which has been developed in the different disciplines. So, and then at the end of that 6 weeks training, we had to give an elaborate, not only one page, it was an elaborate report. We had to submit it to the director. And then he said, okay, he will be assigning us that you go and join so-and-so group. Then this group, initially it was called synthetic silicate group. Then when Professor Natarajan was there as a director, it was called silicate and catalysis group. And now recently, at the time Dr. P.K. Ghosh came over, he just renamed it as inorganic material and catalysis. Next slide. This is the overall view with for the period from 72 to 2013, we have been pursuing it. That is synthetic zeolites as adsorbents, precipitated calcium silicate, lime-based silica, filtrate from diatomaceous earth, thermal insulation. From 80 to 90, we are working on modernite type zeolite, detergent grade zeolite, low density precipitated silica, amorphous sodium silicate. Then 1990 to 2000, beneficiation of indigenous clay, inorganic pillared clays, organic pillared clays, stable colloidal silica. And then from 2000 onwards, you know, we are working from waste to wealth. We have been working for GNFC, for kimberlite, for spent catalysts, synthetic zeolites for various adsorbents, purification, separation processes, hydroformylation, asymmetric transformations, epoxidations. And the last one we are not able to see it is photocatalytic degradation using titanium dioxide. Next. Now, exactly moving into, in 1976, as I told you when I joined, I was assigned two assignments, given two rather. First is the preparation of precipitated silica, and another one was the preparation of hydrated calcium silicate. Now, in precipitated silica, the things were already there. but the most challenging part was to prepare a stable silicic acid or silica sol. So the first thing what we had to do for the first 3 months in 1976, end of 76 and early 77 was to prepare a stable silicic acid, silica sol, by introduction of sodium silicate and hydrochloric acid. At least we tried it for 4 months, we are not able to get it. And then it was only a simple acid-based titration, sodium silicate and acid. But then we came out with a solution saying that, okay, if we can add slightly more than the stoichiometric requirement, more of acid, and keep the pH of the sodium silicate solution slightly on the acidic side, we'll be able to maintain the stability of it. So about 5% excess of the stoichiometric requirement was there, and then we got the stable silica sol. That silica sol was interacted with lime slurry to get precipitated silica. You can see the specification of it also, and the process was very simple. In 1978, we gave it to transferred this technology to White Chemicals and Bethel Chemical Industries in Cochin. Next. Here again, a party from Rajkot, that is Kadwani Chemicals in 1972, approached our institute, and they sponsored a project on preparation of precipitated silica by direct neutralization of sodium silicate. At that time, when they sponsored the project, they were very clear in their objectives. There were 3 main objectives. First, the duration of the sponsored project will be only 6 months. Within 6 months, you have to deliver the results. You have to say yes or no, whether it is technically feasible or not. Second objective is, once you achieve the specification on a laboratory scale, you have to provide us a sample which will be checked for its physico-chemical properties in the user's industry. And the third is, if your sample passes through the performance test in rubber, we'll license the technology. These are the 3 main objectives. Dr. Pandya, they formed a team, and the first thing he told us was to go to the library and search the prior art. In those days, you remember, there were only chemical abstracts. We had to manually do it. Dr. Oza, Dr. Somani and myself, all of them went to the library. And after getting some references, we started doing some experimental work. We did some experiments every month, but to our distress, we could not do it. For the next 4 months, we went on doing experiment, but we were totally disheartened. We felt that we should leave this project, but Dr. Pandya was so much hopeful that no, we will still search some prior art and then see whether we can get this sponsored project through or not. Then in one of the prior art references, Dr. Pandya gave it to us, all of us read to us, and in that prior art it was written, partial neutralization of sodium silicate to form nuclei, then intermittently interrupting the polymerization process and allowing the nuclei to grow, and then simultaneously adding, as you can see in the picture, simultaneously adding sodium silicate and sulfuric acid while maintaining the rate of addition and controlling the pH. And that gave a ray of hope. That was in the 5th month, we said that yes, instead of forming gel, we could get precipitate, and then we said that okay, we'll be able to do it. But still, that was only a partial success. Then we went on doing all permutation combination of all the key process variables, and end of the 5th month, on the laboratory scale, that is maybe about 200 gram batch or so, we were able to see that yes, we are able to achieve this specification. We called the party, we gave the sample to the party got it evaluated from the users industry. They came back and said that yes, we are ready for taking the technology. They came over, they signed the technology, we transferred the technology to them, but the problem was that we could show them the demonstration. The bench scale experiment was only about 5 kg batch. We did not have the reactors which we have got 9 on this kg. And then from that Kadwani Chemical, there was a person called Chimanbhai Patel. He was also basically a chemical engineer. He said, don't worry about it. I have seen your laboratory scale experiment. You show me your bench scale experiment on 3 reproducible results. Then we'll scale up to 500 kg per batch in their factory. We showed him the laboratory scale and the 5 kilo batch, and he was confident that I don't mean anything. You come to our premises, we'll put up a 500 kg batch plant and we'll go ahead. And literally they did it. They kept the plant in Gondal and they're still producing it. And again, in the next slide, if you see, in 2000, next slide. And in 2004, if you see on the last one, 7, they again came in for acquiring a technology. First technology was in 1983. And then they said, okay, we have got still confidence in CSM CRI. I want precipitated silica having all particles less than 10 microns. Very rigid specification was. And still we developed the technology and then we transferred the technology. And then you can see all this technology, 83 through NRDC, we transferred it, we charged them, and then reports were also given to them for them. Next slide. Then again, as I told you, hydrated calcium silicate, we developed it. Silica sol was there, interacted with lime slurry. But the problem was that we were not able to achieve this specification, that is low bulk density and having oil absorption capacity more than 375%. So then again, we varied all the key process variables and we were able to achieve this specification, and then we transferred it to a party in Mona Chemicals in Bhavnagar. Next. Then again, I remember Dr. B.J. Palala, who was working for his PhD work, thesis under Dr. D.J. Mehta for preparation of stable colloidal silica sol. There were different methods we were adopting it. First is the partial neutralization of sodium silicate to form nuclei in the very nanometer scale, and then allowing the silica to polymerize, or by passing it through the ion exchange resin. I remember Dr. Anand was there. We told him we prepared a dilute solution of sodium silicate, passed through the sodium exchange resin, and we got silicic acid. And then further adjusting the pH by acid and salt solution, and then concentrating on aqueous solution by evaporation, by controlling all of the parameters, we were able to achieve a stable sodium colloidal silica, having silica concentration in the range of 5 to 28%. The stability was for 3 to 5 days, and the surface area, the BET surface area, it was in the range of 125 to 300 meters square per gram. And then I remember if I'm not mistaken, in 2001 or 2001, along with Dr. A.S. Mehta, Dr. B.J. Pala, we transferred the technology to Acumen Industries in Ahmedabad. Next. This was also again a very big sponsored project from Indian Oil Corporation. They read our annual report, and where we had mentioned that we are working on beneficiation of indigenous clays. And then they said that when they came over, interacted with us and said that yes, we are interested in sponsoring a project on organoclay from bentonite, because they have learned, they made some exercise, they came to know that in Gujarat, at least in Bhavnagar district, in Gujarat and Rajasthan, we were able to get good quality of bentonite. So first thing what we did is, we did the literature search, we went and made a field survey, we had a geologist, Mr. D.V. Patel with us. We went along with the different regions of Gujarat, in Rajasthan, and then we found out the best quality of bentonite. We upgraded the bentonite, and based on the X-ray diffraction and the bentonite which is having the maximum cation action capacity, highest cation action capacity, were selected. So out of that lot of about 20 samples, 3 samples, 1 from Gujarat and 2 from Rajasthan, were selected, which was having highest cation action capacity. Then another problem was to have the quaternary ammonium compound. In those days when we took up this work in 94, 95, the availability of quaternary ammonium compound in the market was also very scarce. We had to go, we had to talk to the agent, we get the samples, sometimes we get the samples but not in a big quantity. And Indian Oil Corporation said that okay, minimum batch what you said is, it should be 25 kg. So that also was a big challenge for us to get a good quaternary ammonium compound. But we studied many of them, and still from one of them, that is stearyl dimethyl benzyl ammonium chloride, we could get the good results. The cation action capacity was also more. We could increase the basal spacing from normally from 7 to 8 Armstrong to about 18.73. So there was good intercalation in the interlayer space of the bentonite. And then these samples we gave it to the Indian Oil Corporation in Faridabad. They tested it for the preparation of grease. They also came out that yes, we are able to match the imported sample, that we are able to get good quality of bentonite or the grease formulations from it. But the only thing that we could not take it forward, or we could not license the technology, only because the focus of the Indian Oil Corporation had changed, the management had changed, and they said that they will be doing something else, they will come up later, but they never came up and took the technology from us. Next. Now, the another important thing is, as remember Dr. Gandhi was mentioning, when Dr. Natarajan was talking about the National Aluminium Company from Bhubaneswar. I remember when they came over, because I was not directly involved, but because I was a team member in that thing, in that group, they said that they had read in our biennial report that the technology on detergent grade zeolite was given to a party in Trichy, that is T-Biome company, in 1991-92. And they came and told us that in a bauxite processing plant, huge amount of bauxite leachate is produced, which is a byproduct and a waste. And they said that the disposal of this bauxite leachate was a problem because of the regulatory norms. Moreover, this aluminum leachate was very viscous. It was very dark brown in color, and it contained large amount of suspending and insoluble impurities. So they came, and no doubt this bauxite was containing sodium aluminate. So if you say that if you can upgrade this bauxite leachate and using that aluminum as a source, if you can prepare detergent grade zeolite, then we are ready to sponsor the technology. So initially exploratory work was taken. On the laboratory scale we got it. Then through NRDC, because when the technology was to be licensed in those days, it was to be done through NRDC. So NRDC also came into the picture. They talked to NALCO, and if you remember, Mr. Gandhi was saying also in the morning in his inaugural speech, Dr. Professor Natarajan was also saying, that was the deal which was made was about 135, premium was about 135 lakhs. And at that point of time, it was the maximum in the history of CSIR. I remember at least Dr. Pandya can say no more things about, more than me, he has done it for us, and most of us who are present here in 94, 95 may be knowing it. But just to take it on the lighter side, because Professor Natarajan has gone to Delhi, and Mr. Pandya wanted to give a surprise to Professor Natarajan, so he brought all the band bajas to the institute. And when Professor Natarajan came, he was not knowing it. As soon as he came down to the porch, the music started, and he was taken aback, and we were all standing there saying that, okay. Yeah. So that was the appreciation, and he was coming from Delhi because he had signed the agreement, everything was ready, he was knowing it, and to the surprise of everybody, and even Professor Natarajan, he was taken aback when all these things happened. Then, if you remember, in 1998 and 2002, CSMCR was the recipient, no doubt the discipline was also the recipient of the two prestigious awards for the significant breakthrough in mitigating two environmental problems. I'll say why two environmental problems. One was that the bauxite leachate from the bauxite processing plant, when you throw it in the open market, the regulatory norms did not permit them. So we were using that bauxite leachate in preparing detergent grade zeolite. And the second problem was that we developed a technology on zeolite which was a substitute for sodium tripolyphosphate. And that sodium tripolyphosphate, when it was used in detergent and when it goes in drainage, it causes eutrophication. Huge amount of, mass amount of algae growth was there. And when the algae growth was there, there was a depletion of oxygen and the death of fishes. So by taking this technology, we were able, the institute was able to develop to mitigate two environmental problems. And that is why we got this technology. And I remember in 2001, Mr. Gandhi, Dr. Rosa and Dr. Saumani had gone to Bhubaneswar Damanjodi for commissioning of the plants. They stayed there for nearly 20 days. And then they said yes, they were happy. They gave us a certificate saying that yes, everything is doing okay. We are able to produce maybe about 35 tons of detergent grade zeolite per day. That is a plant of about 10,000 TPA per annum. And it was functioning smoothly and satisfactorily after our scientists came back. Next. The next was GNFC Bharuch in 1998. GNFC Bharuch, in their nitrophosphate plant, they were producing huge amount of byproduct which was rich in calcium carbonate. This calcium carbonate, because it was very heavy, we can say very hard material, the large particle size and high bulk density, could not find applications directly into the industries. And this, at least information what we got is, they were producing about 20 tons of this byproduct waste every day, and disposal was a problem. They approached our institute. We took up the project on a collaborative basis, and then said that utilizing this byproduct, are you able to prepare value-added products from this? Then I remember Dr. Jasra was there, Dr. Somani, Dr. Chunawala, they were all there. They took up the project and then came up with different types of the calcium carbonate. We developed it. You can see the specification of the raw bentonite is of 1.3 gram per cc. The particle size, average particle size was about 28 micron. And then after the precipitation calcium carbonate what we prepared, you can see the difference in this specification. Next. Then from that calcium carbonate rich byproduct, we came out with different types of products like in the rubber grade, PVC grade, paint grade, toothpaste grade and paper grade. Based on that, we have filed 2 patents applications also, for which we have got the US patents for that. And then for a pilot plant scale was also set up in this institute, which could treat about 10 kg of this byproduct to value-added products, maybe activated precipitated calcium carbonate or the precipitated calcium carbonate. That you can see over the picture, which was set up in our chemical engineering shed. And I remember later when Dr. Lakshmi Iyer was there in GNFC, she was about to retire before 1 year, and then she took up the things with the management, and they said that they will be putting a plant of about 1,000 tons of precipitated rubber grade precipitated calcium carbonate. Everything was there. I remember Dr. Ghosh knows the things better than me. Then everything was ready, but somehow or other, as I told you, just like Indian Oil Corporation, the focus of the management changed, and they did not see the light of the day for the commercialization of it. But the technology is ready, still they have got it. We can give it to others, whoever is interested, we can transfer the technology to them. Next. This is another byproduct, this is a waste from diamond mines, that is the kimberlite waste. And this kimberlite waste, if you can see from the chemical analysis, it contains about 35% of silica. If you can make use of this silica and prepare some value-added products, and then this NMDC from Ahmedabad, National Mineral Corporation in Hyderabad, they said that if you can take this on a sponsored project and utilizing this 35% of silica in that kimberlite waste, we are ready to sponsor the project. And later on they sponsored the project. We did some experiment. We enriched the kimberlite waste by reacted with acid, and then we came up to 78% silica. Then we treated with alkali, we got sodium silicate. And after sodium silicate, we prepared detergent grade zeolites. That expertise was already there with us. Once from that kimberlite waste, if we are able to produce sodium silicate, then the rest of the expertise for preparing precipitated silica or detergent grade zeolites was already there. So we prepared from that kimberlite waste, we prepared 3 products: sodium silicate, detergent grade zeolite and precipitated silica. Very recently, last year, I remember Dr. Bajaj and some team members from NMDC Hyderabad, they came over here. They said that why don't you submit a proposal? We are ready to take it up on a commercial scale, and we'll see that we get fundings from other sources or from government. We prepared a proposal, we submitted to them, but somehow or other, it is almost six months or more than 6 months or 1 year, almost we did not get a feedback from this NMDC. But at least they have shown them willingness. The management was also interested in taking it to the commercial scale. And in between, I remember one of the party, that is Kanuria Chemicals, they were also to join hands with NMDC and CSIR for taking it to the commercial scale. Next. Now, very recently, as I told you, from bauxite, there's a party from Ahmedabad, this Credo Mineral Industries Limited, they were interested in technology. I remember when Dr. Somani was doing his PhD and he was working on this detergent grade zeolite, he had done some experiments using bauxite. as a source of aluminum, then preparing sodium aluminate from bauxite, treating with sodium silicate and did it. He had already had 1 or 2 publications on this using the bauxite, mineral bauxite for preparing detergent grade zeolite. And again in 2011, when this Credo Mineral came over, they said, yes, we'll be able to take the technology. But the problem was, the only problem which you can see over there is the alumina content in bauxite was very less. And they very honestly told us the content of alumina, the bauxite is of very low quality. From that very low quality, are you able to prepare detergent grade zeolite? Then I remember Dr. Maiti, Pratyush Maiti and Dr. Samani, they were working. Dr. Gandhi was also for some time associated with that. They upgraded that low grade bauxite, and by alkali treatment, then they were able to reach up to 90% from that bauxite, low grade bauxite. And then rest of the thing was easy for them. Expertise was already there to prepare sodium aluminate, interact with sodium silicate and get the product. And you can see, we can see the comparison with the Sassil products also. We have done it. Next. No doubt this is not a siliceous chemical, but just very recently Dr. Abdi and his group, they have transferred the technology from styrene to styrene oxide. And then from styrene oxide, they went to the hydrogenation of this to get phenyl ethyl alcohol. Very recently they have transferred it to Aquila Organics in 2011, 2012. Only thing is, what I want to say is, these are some of the technologies which have been developed, some of the experiences which we have gained, how we went on developing the technologies, what are the difficulties which we encountered in that thing, and then whether we can come out with a solution or be helpful to the future people also. Next. These are some of the technologies from silicate. I'll just say from silicate to inorganic material and catalysis. You can see detergent grade zeolite was given to 5 parties, low grade density precipitated silica, colloidal silica, recovery of palladium from silica gels we gave to Strides Arco, and the last one we gave it to Eco Organics Rampur. Next. And these are some of the 10 unique inventions. Note that there are many other inventions, but I will only select some 10 unique inventions for which we have granted some US patents. That is for the inorganic catalysts in different areas we can see over here, from molecular sieve, calcium carbonate, amorphous silica from kimberlite, spent silica, epoxidation reactions, catalytic epoxidation of styrene with molecular oxygen, precipitated silica, and very recently asymmetric nitroaldol reactions, for which recently in 2013 the patent was granted. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for a patient hearing. Well, thank you, sir.